Hey everybody, we got a huge patch today with a ton of changes that were in the patch notes, one that wasn't. We'll talk about all of them. Just quick update, editing new stuff myself for right meow, which means the quality is going to take a small step back. We'll get all the information in there. I'll try to be as quick as I can. But again, with the quality taking a step back for meow, I'm going to try to avoid having any of the bloopers like we did yesterday.
I'm sorry, are you saying meow?
So again, for meow, we'll try to keep our words clear and make sure nobody gets confused with what I'm trying to say.
I could have sworn you said meow.
So for the patch notes, let's get into the first things that matter first. On here, I mean, I can show you guys, I can do it in order, but I want to talk about the invisible player thing first, because I think that's what everybody was most worried about. They have fixed it, sort of. The invisible player bug is still occurring. There was a bug that could be triggered by wearing certain gear that it looks like they hot fixed pretty quickly. You're still apparently going to see it with your group members. At least earlier this morning, they might patch it even further. But as far as getting killed or seeing other players that aren't your friends, it's going to take some time. For me, I only ran into invisible players 3 times all wipe. Now, that's me. I play solo. I play in groups the whole 9 yards. Now, when I say that, I mean people that I fought. If we had groups of like, say, 4-mans or 5-mans as a squad, we had probably maybe half the time somebody was invisible in the group. So I think that was more common. But as far as not seeing players in raid, it didn't happen all that much. I personally think it's overreported, just a product of Tarkov being Tarkov. People not hearing or being seen where they're shot from think it's an invisible player, say they die to an invisible player, even though it was just a product of Tarkov. I'm not trying to diminish what people are saying. I think it was overreported. Still a game-breaking bug. So we'll have to keep an eye on it over the next couple of days. We'll see if it turns up. Obviously, you'll see it with some of the streamers and stuff. They will not hesitate to complain if they die by it. So it's always a pretty good judge you'll see from them. One big addition, though, is the grouping system. Bunch of changes there with it. There's a lot of cool stuff there. It's pretty straightforward, honestly. Down in the bottom, you have a couple of little plus symbols now that you can that you click on. You click on one of those and you can invite your party members. Then you're in a group, even in your inventory. The group leader picks the map, picks the time, he gets into raid. Everybody else gets a little alert that says they're ready. You can click ready if you want, or you can keep screwing around. And then once everybody's in the screen that's in the group, you can launch in. Now, if you're on player scavs, it'll show you that somebody doesn't have their player scav ready, so that there's a timer, things like that, that kind of make it a little bit easier, but still needs a little bit of work. It's still kind of buggy in some places. You can still kind of get hung up and not get a raid launched. I have a feeling they'll get through this over the next couple of weeks. It's definitely a step up quality of life for people that play in squads. So the next change we'll talk about here is the quest reward skill calculation. This has to do with quests that give you skill as a reward. They reverted it back to pre-13, which is a good change. I didn't like how it was. It didn't make sense to me, especially with how the skill system is. And I'll show you specifically right here on my task that I haven't turned in. I've turned in my other ones, but assessment part 1, I'm sorry, courier gives me crafting 1 level and intellect. And this was like 0.55 levels and 0.4 levels or something, which meant it was giving me 55 skill points and 40 skill points, if those numbers were right. I'm kind of guessing right now. And that's a product of how Tarkov skills work. So for example, if you are level 9 or above, it's 100 skill points to get to the next level. But anything under that, so for example, like immunity right here, I'm only level 2, it's 30 skill points. So what would happen is at lower levels, you would get more than at higher levels. And it kind of screwed up how you would progress some of the things like sniper skills and some of these others with health. So now the way it works is back to the way it was before, which is a percentage system. So for example, I am roughly 50% of the way through immunity on level 2. That 1 level, if I got 1 level skill point there, what that would do was bump that. I would be 50% on my way to level 4 after this, which would be about 20. So that kind of works that way. It's a better system in my mind with how it all works together. So if you've been saving your skills, make sure you turn those in. Now, there was a bunch of fixes with sound. I haven't got through it yet. I've only got like an hour or 2 of gameplay in as of this video. I'm going to get a bunch more in over the next couple of days, test things out. But just from reading what other streamers and other people I play with and stuff have talked about, it sounds like things like the bunkers on woods are better. Directional audio is better. Some of the bugginess in certain areas that's really hard to define because it's not consistently bad, but it can be. Some of that sounds better. Everybody, and it could be some copium. Hard to say, so I want a couple of more days, but they've done a ton of work on the audio side of stuff. Bunch of points in here talking about it as far as what they fixed as far as sound on the different maps. Now, Shoreline, Reserve, things like that, they're still shit shows. They haven't got the full treatment of the Oculus audio or whatever that all means. So they still kind of suck. And they've said that there's going to be more work to come. This isn't like the final iteration. And from what I've seen others and the research I've done, it's going to be a long process getting audio stepped back up and hopefully eventually get it better than where it was with Steam Audio, but we'll see. They've also supposedly fixed the memory leak that comes with binaural audio. So I'm going to be running binaural audio on for a few days to see if I have that memory leak, see if there's a performance hit, and see if it actually has an effect on positional sound, which it should if it's working properly. So I'll have to report back from you guys once I get some time to play with it, get a feel for it, as well as do some more scientific testing rather than just feel, if you know what I mean. Now, they do have a note in here specifically about labs. Let me find where they said that at. Where they specifically worked on geometrical sound positioning system in the lab location. I don't play labs all that much. I can't speak to it. If you're somebody who has tons of time in labs and you're playing it now and you have noticed something different, make sure you let us know down in the comments. I would be super interested to hear what they have done there, because I think that is one of the more important maps for them to get fixed as far as sound is concerned, with how broken it is on that map as well. There is a comment in here about the hand freezing bugs, many issues involved in them. I don't think they're all fixed. Some of them are still there, but hopefully the worst of them are. If you do get stuck, and the hand freeze bug can represent many ways, your gun might not reload. It might be stuck, kind of look like you're expecting it or inspecting it. You can't do anything. You can't heal. You can't change gear. Everything's just stuck. The best way to fix that is go find a dark corner or a bush, hide in it, Alt F4 your game, reload back in, and you should be fine. It's never not worked for me before, but I hate to say it's 100% fix for things, but it tends to resolve the issue. If you can't do that, you better just head for extract and get out of the raid. Now, as far as some of the other fixes, there's some fixes with the AI behavior of Xerxes. They fixed visual clipping, something to do with the Glock pistols. Incorrect icons on specific weapon attachments and ammo. Those, I think I saw a screenshot of somebody showing that there's still one there, so keep that in mind. There might be things going on with that still. Fixed incorrect animation of wristwatches on bear character models. Fixed the possibility of group members spawning in different spawn points in an online mode after playing co-op mode. Had this experience a couple times, mostly on player scavs. We'd spawn on opposite sides of the map, like on woods even, which is annoying, but I think they fix that. Hopefully I'll let you know if it isn't. Fixed possibility of Xerxes still attacking players even with an activated transmitter in some cases. It's a good fix. Really annoying thing to happen if it happened to you and you went through all that work to get a transmitter. Fixed issue that led to Fence reputation loss for killing Xerxes and his guards as a scav. I'm assuming you're supposed to lose scavs rep if you do that. Maybe you weren't, so that's what people were doing. I don't know. They addressed it. Fixed possibility of killing bots without them returning fire while leaning and shooting from narrow openings on or hard to see covers. So basically what people do is if you did really slow lean peeks on things like rogues and scav bosses, they wouldn't react to you and you can kind of get a free kill on them. BSG sees this as cheesing. Apparently that's not how they want it to work, so it's been addressed. I don't have an opinion on it. I never really use this to kill bosses or kill rogues, so it doesn't affect me at all, so I'm not gonna have an opinion. Just telling you what they did. They also fixed some interface elements overlapping when repeatedly switching between the character section of the lobby screens. Had this happen, annoying bug. I usually just Alt F4 to fix it and it would go away. Fixed the issue that led to error 228 while using the gym in the hideout. I didn't get this anymore from the last patch, but I think some people still were, so that's been fixed, hopefully. Again, it could be one of those things that's an iterative process to get it better and better. Fixed incorrect airdrop positions on specific locations. This could represent it in several ways. Probably going to be a continued thing. It's probably a per location bug. So if you have this happen, make sure you submit a bug report and let them know that you can't get to the crate or whatever. Fixed the issues that led to hand freezing while using underbarrel grenade launchers. Good fix. This was another hand freeze that I wasn't sure about. I haven't tested it yet. I'd had it happen to me a couple times because I'd forget. If you had a GL out basically and you threw your bag on the ground or did some other actions, you would be frozen. You'd have to Alt F4 and everything. So hopefully that's been addressed. That'll be a good deal. They adjusted the shooting range gunshot sounds to match indoor firing sounds. Cool. It does sound like that now. Now that it's like that, I kind of like the old way better because the echoey stuff kind of sucks shooting in the range, but it is what it is. I'm not going to complain about that all that much. Fixed incorrect behavior of the currency selection in the UI on the flea market when switching to other screens. Annoying bug, nothing major. Probably didn't even notice if you didn't use it a lot. Fixed the visual artifacting while using NVGs with FSR 2.1 enabled. I never used FSR, so if there was something going on there, good for those of you that were using it, and NVGs can work properly now. Fixed the order of chambers of the RS-12 revolver drum, and then fixed an issue that led to hammer cocking ammunition playing on dry fire after switching from single action to double action RSH-12 Chapter Rhino revolvers. Bugs on the revolvers, probably not most things people noticed. Kind of cool that they fix stuff like that as they get through it. So, and then they fix missing ergonomic penalties effect of some equipment. So I'm guessing that ergo, like something would say it has a negative ergo penalty and it wasn't applying. So they look like they fixed that, which leads to the next thing, which is something they did that they did not say in the patch notes, which I don't know why they do this, but they don't. But backpacks now, if you look at them, they all have debuffs. And they range. Let me just pull up Ragman and I'll kind of show you. So like all the way down to even the little bags will have like a little ergo buff, sometimes a turning speed debuff, to big bags like, for example, the raid bag or the Terminator. They have a little bit bigger hits on ergo, turn speed, movement speed, things like that. I know a lot of people are going to say they don't like this. I think they still need to work on some of the stats, but I am a fan of this change. Choice is better. Now, let me expand on this a little bit. The reason I say that is because right now, the only reason to run a bag is because it's bigger, or maybe it's a little bit sleeker on your character, doesn't stand out as much. There is no choice with bags. And by having stats on the bags, now you can make choices for your specific mission you're doing in your raid. Do you want to run quick? Do you want to carry a lot of loot? You know, all those other things, as long as the debuffs aren't major, but minor enough to people that want to min-max, it's meaningful, but not impactful enough for your everyday gamer that it actually ruins their experience. So they have been tweaking these values constantly, and we'll just have to see where they end up, because they've done some wild swings from when they first put them in at the patch this morning to where they are now, and they can change these constantly without like patches and updates and things like that. So just keep that in mind, that we're going to be seeing that going forward, and that your bags have debuffs now. But that pretty much wraps up the video. A little bit longer because I had a lot of stuff to go over, but I wanted to make sure I got you guys filled out. Appreciate you guys watching. As always, I wish you the best of luck in your raids, and we'll see you in Tarkov.